And welcome back. So ActionSA has issued a warning to the ANC stating that if it puts forward its own mayoral candidate in Tshwane, it will lose the ActionSA support. This comes amid reports that the ANC, which relied on ActionSA to unseat Mayor Cilliers Brink, now plans to run its own candidate. At the same time, the DA is pushing for Brink to be reinstated as a Tshwane Mayor. ActionSA leader Herman Mashaba is joining us now in studio. Mr. Mashaba, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making time for us this morning.
Good morning, Aldrin. And I think let me firstly, really correct this threat. ActionSA does not operate on negotiations of this nature using threats and arrogance. ActionSA will never pull out of negotiations because we don't get what we want. I want to really make this abundantly clear, and I want ANC to understand that we are going to engage with them in good faith, and ultimately we will obviously get the right candidate to run the city of Tshwane.
Yeah.
So I think this arrogance that we've experienced of our coalition partners, that is not going to happen from ActionSA. ActionSA is going to be about the residents of Tshwane. It's about respecting the democratic outcome of the elections. So I'd really want to assure the DA, please, when you ANC, when you come and negotiate with us, come and negotiate. Don't worry. Yeah. Don't be nervous. Just come and negotiate with us in good faith. There's not going to be threats. What we'll do is when we put together government, let's put together government that is going to be society-centric. We fight corruption. We focus service, particularly in the poor areas. So I really want the ANC to really settle. Come and negotiate with me in good faith, and I will come and negotiate with you in good faith as well.
Was there an agreement before the motion of no confidence between ActionSA and the ANC that once Mayor Cilliers Brink is ousted, that ActionSA will field a candidate?
No, there was not. I've always been clear, including actually in a press conference, that we will not have any written agreement with the ANC. We will have principal agreement. I proposed Dr Nasiphi to the ANC before the serious negotiations, which have not really taken place. We're at the moment busy putting measures in place to start serious negotiations because we've got 14 days and a few days have already gone. So yes, I proposed, and I see in the media that they have their own proposals. What I'm saying as ActionSA, we will all parties ensure that we actually go for the best candidate.
Yeah. Was you putting forward Nasiphi Moya's name this is the name that us as ActionSA is putting forward, not necessarily that we want, as per an agreement, that Nasiphi Moya be elected the mayor, and we will then in turn support the ANC in that motion of no confidence?
Absolutely. It was saying to them, guys, in Tshwane in particular, because of the abuse ActionSA suffered from DA insults and so forth. And originally when ANC approaches the Aldrin, I'm sure you can remember, we all wanted at the time in all the municipalities, the 3 municipalities, only to occupy the legislature. But DA made a terrible mistake. Instead of actually dealing with this matter with respect, they decided to insult us, insult ANC. I then said to the ANC during one of the discussions, I said, you know what, guys, I've really had enough of this DA arrogance. My body cannot take this abuse any longer. With Tshwane, I'm changing my mind. We are going to remove this the DA mayor, but ActionSA wants executive position so that we can co-govern with you guys. I'm happy in Johannesburg to really play the role of the legislature as we originally thought. But the arrogance and the disrespect of this DA, I think one needs to really teach them a lesson. Yeah. This is not 1948. This is 2024 with a constitutional democracy. We are not going to allow people to abuse us like this, take us to be corrupt, all of us to be incompetent. We've got to really show them the lesson to really respect us.
So if there wasn't an agreement that Nasiphi Moya will become the next mayor with the support of the ANC, would you be able to tell us why your chairperson, Michael Bowman, told News 24 We are concerned, but I think it is very important that you do not try to negotiate a government through the media. In other words, people say all things, but we need to sit down and have a real conversation. Why would he be concerned? Why would ActionSA be concerned if the ANC is going to field its own candidate?
Well, I think, look, fortunate enough, this ANC agreement, I'm on record as well, that this particular agreements with the ANC, I'm going to lead them myself, because I'm sure you know my history with the ANC. That dates back long before you were even born, Aldrin. So I know the ANC, the people. These are family, these are friends, these are people I grew up with. I only got really close with them when they started this corruption that really destroyed millions of lives. So that is why, as I had the privy of being the one negotiating with the ANC than Michael Bowman. Michael must have obviously said to them, guys, I've proposed Nasiphi Moya as our candidate, and at the time ANC had no problem, but they says, guys, we will obviously formalize this when we start formal negotiations. Actually, before I left overseas about a month ago, ANC wanted us to immediately get involved in negotiations, but I declined. Why? Because I wanted to ensure that before I formalize my negotiations with the ANC, let me consult our structures, our Gauteng PEC, our Tshwane REC, and our caucus. I said, please give us 2 weeks or so, and I'm leaving in 2 days' time. I'm leaving for overseas, but the process will run. On my return, once I get the report, and the report, our teams are happy, we will then start the negotiations. I come back, a DA went all out using every available propaganda to discredit and insult ANC. If you look at the propaganda unleashed against ANC people, I wonder how ANC actually feel. I don't understand DA's negotiations. They want the support of Gauteng ANC, but they are insulting them I mean, they're nothing. They're crooks. They are corrupt.
So in your negotiations with the ANC, you went into a negotiation that we're going to support you in your motion of no confidence, but we don't have an agreement yet around who would be filling that vacancy. Let me
tell you something, and which also I'm on record on this. When I started and agreed to meet with the ANC, we had already made our mind that we only need the support of our structures. Personally, Herman Mashaba, I'd already taken a decision. My relationship with the DA is water under the bridge. My body can't take it any longer. However, this is not my party. This party belongs to our members. Let's consult them, get to see how they feel. You know what, Aldrin, when we consulted our people, actually 2 days before I left, the first group I saw was encountered with was our Gauteng PEC. I can tell you that meeting was hot, because I can tell you they were not even prepared to go through the review process. They says, Herman, please, let's cut this umbilical cord.
But I want to understand that how does ActionSA go into a meeting with the ANC to remove the mayor in the city of Tshwane, but there's no agreement around what happens after there is a vacancy?
No, okay, let me tell you how simple it is.
Okay.
Because remember what triggered us from taking decision was the DA leadership approaching ANC leadership to remove us from Tshwane. So we are going to be removed in any way. So that's why I said to my team, we are not going to wait to be removed by the DA. We are not going to be pushed. So whatever happens, whether we come to an arrangement with the ANC or not, ActionSA is out of Tshwane with the DA. And also, now take the other dynamic now. In the event ANC and DA don't really come together, without ActionSA, none of the two groups can form a party, because they don't have the numbers. So that's why, to make sure that there's stability in the city of Tshwane, there can be government, we've decided, we've made ourselves available to the ANC, and we are still available. But if they come to arrangement with the DA, fine, ActionSA is happy to be on the opposition benches.
So does this mean that if the ANC decides to field its own candidate, ActionSA will support that candidate?
I think
you will vote in support support of that candidate?
I think, Aldrin, negotiations of this nature, anyone who's going to conduct them in public, that person is a fool, it's irresponsible. These are very sensitive matters actually involving the public. I don't think, honestly, it would really be wise for me. I know I'm not clever. I'm not clever, but I would not really want to really engage. But one thing I can promise society is that once we've agreed or not agreed, we'll come back to you as a society, because we are running a public organization. Yeah. We'll come back to you whether we are successful or not.
Sure, but you did tell us that you put forward Nasiphi Moya's name.
So I'm
asking, if the ANC puts forward its own candidate, will ActionSA support the ANC?
Well, it depends who they put forward. They've got to put someone better than Dr. Nasiphi. We'll look at it. But what I'm trying to say is that we know we're not clever, and some people have accepted my race not to be clever. And but we're not fools. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to engage in negotiations of such sensitive nature in public. What we're doing, we've got 14 days, and we've got the few days have already passed. ANC and us, we're aware that time is against us. Once we've negotiated, we've come to a decision as to who must lead, we will come back to you. There's just no way that we will not come back to society, because the mayor has to really be elected in an open council meeting.
I have to also say, Mr. Mashaba, I find it fascinating, if anything, how ActionSA is now almost a defender of the ANC, when ActionSA was actually a political party campaigning on the basis of trying to oust the ANC because the ANC was corrupt. That was ActionSA's commitment to its voters. But here it is, ActionSA seems to be scrambling to work with the ANC.
Tell me, where do you get that impression from, that ActionSA is a defender of ANC? ActionSA is doing what is in the best interest of our country. In the event ANC and DA don't find each other, without ActionSA's intervention, joining forces with the ANC, the city of Tshwane will be without government. So do you expect ActionSA to act in that irresponsible manner?
But ActionSA would essentially be taking a decision that also leads to the ANC being back in power. Do you agree to that?
Well, but I'm not going to put arrogant, disrespectful people into government.
That ActionSA's actions will essentially mean the ANC gets back into power with the help of ActionSA.
But they've got if you respect democracy, this is what's happening in the city of Tshwane and elsewhere. It's a result and the outcome of a democratic process. People who don't respect democracy, they don't respect the outcome. If anyone can bring forward to say the 2021 elections were not free and fair, then it's something else. Here, the people of Tshwane have spoken to say no single political party will govern. And it is our responsibilities as political parties to make sure that there's no vacuum.
And ActionSA is going to use their votes to bring the ANC back into power.
Yes, because we've removed, and proudly so, we've removed the DA who never respected us. We thought they will come to their senses, but they operate as if it's 1948 when black people did not have universal suffrage.
Is that hypocritical of the party, of ActionSA? That you campaign for people to vote for ActionSA against a corrupt ANC, and here is ActionSA today saying that actually, let's get the ANC back into power.
Okay, can I tell you something interesting that you might really be aware? I know you're a clever journalist. On the 28th of May, 2024, show me any party that's in the current coalition, what they said about ANC. You want me to pull you out to show you? Yeah.
And you are part of them?
Yes.
You are part of them?
We're not God. But what I'm trying to say, as human beings, Aldrin, all the time, you have to operate on prevailing circumstances. You don't take decisions in a vacuum. When you are confronted with a particular challenge, God has given us the brains to make sure that you react appropriately. Right now, we don't have the luxury or the arrogance to say we are going to govern on our own as ActionSA. We don't have that luxury.
Yeah.
DA does not have that luxury. ANC does not have that luxury. The voters of Tshwane have demanded of us to put our own personal views and opinions aside and govern them as coalition partners.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what ActionSA is doing.
Okay, and then just on a quick another matter, the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, the matter that was taken to the Public Protector. We heard now Ethel Trollop saying that the Public Protector didn't investigate the matter. The next step then for ActionSA with regards to this particular issue?
Well, I think I saw it yesterday and last night. Obviously, I think as much as I'm the leader of the party, I'm not in Parliament. I can't really be attuned of everything else.
Okay.
But I know our team in Parliament have really been taking up on this matter, and they have our mandate to pursue any matter that is not in the public interest.
Okay, and the final one, the incident that happened over the weekend in Lusikisiki, just as ActionSA, a political party that is also represented in Parliament, what's your take on this massacre that happened in that village?
I really, I said to my wife on Sunday to say, we need, as a general or Lieutenant General Kwanazi, the provincial police commissioner of KwaZulu-Natal. We really need him as our national commissioner to really go and help us sort out this matter at the national level, because he's proven beyond any reasonable doubt that he is the man that can help us find permanent solutions to this. Tell me, in any nation where 18 people are murdered, a year later, 4 or 5 people were murdered, and the police are unable to crack this matter. Honestly, I think the police have to really look at themselves. Our entire criminal justice system, honestly, they've got to take responsibility from the minister, the national commissioner, the Eastern Cape provincial commissioner. They've got to look at themselves in the mirror, how they are really failing our community. That's why South Africa today, we lose, 86 people on a daily basis. With the murder capital of the world, you've got a chance of being killed in South Africa than in countries at war. And our law enforcement agencies, including the ANC government, I really appeal to President Cyril Ramaphosa, please deploy the best investigators, because honestly, this matter, as far as I'm concerned, one thing for sure, I've said this on many occasions, that in my next life, I'm going to be a homicide detective. I look at this case, honestly, to crack it, honestly, it would not really take, it's a matter of days, because honestly, the people who killed that family are known by someone in the community. Why our law enforcement agencies are not cracking this is President Cyril Ramaphosa must take personal responsibility. Look at himself in the mirror and say, am I, as a president of the country, am I protecting my citizens?
Thank you so much for that. That is the leader of ActionSA, Herman Mashaba.